Time to bring on and welcome for the first time on the DLS Stars show, a guy that we have been clamoring for to be a guest at for months and months and months. And now we have 4 years to try to make an agreement and hit his rider. But
it doesn't look like a Bud Light either.
His representatives are challenging. Speaking of a golf challenge, look who it is. It's Matt Duchene. Hi, Matt.
Hey, guys. How you doing?
We're doing great. How are you doing after the news of this morning? You had said at the end of season media availability you wanted a little security. You feeling a little secure today?
Yeah, definitely. No, it's great. I think, anytime you're working through this kind of stuff, it's stressful and it's tough, and you're trying to do the right thing for your career, right thing for your family, everything. And, I think, obviously there's a business side to it. I think, that's always the toughest part. We had no intention of leaving Dallas, and we wanted to try and make everything meet up, and definitely getting 4 years out of it was big for us. And it's I'm motivated to play a lot, even longer than that at this point. We'll see. We'll reassess once we get there, but I feel like I've got a lot left in the tank, and that was a big reason we wanted to do something like that. So it's great. I'm very grateful to the Stars organization for believing in me, and believing that I can keep doing my thing, into being 38 years old, because that's what I'll be when this is up. So it's weird. I still identify as being the young guy, because when I came in, I was 18, and I was the young guy basically until one day I woke up and I wasn't anymore. So most of my career I've kind of been that guy, and now it's like I'm the old guy. So it's it's a little different feeling, but like I said, I feel great, and there's no reason why I feel like I should slow down at this point.
Matt, can you pinpoint it to one thing? Why this is the place that you wanted to get back to and stay here? I mean, is it? I know it's always hard to pick one thing, but I'm just curious. Is there anything that sticks out in particular?
Well, there's a lot of great places to live. There's a lot of great, there's a lot of great teams out there. For me, this is the place where both really meet and are the best fit for my family and for myself on and off the ice. The fit on the ice has been perfect. There's always room for improvement, and I'm always looking to get better. I go home in the summer with 3 or 4 things I want to improve on or keep enforcing every year. And then off the ice, our family's been, it's been the biggest blessing. And when we found out we were leaving Nashville like we did, which was abrupt and heartbreaking, another place that we still consider, home. We have, a place there. We're actually heading up there on Sunday for a couple weeks. But when that happened, we didn't know if we'd ever find something that felt like that again. And we found somewhere that I actually think at this point of our lives and my kids' age is a better fit for us than Nashville at this point. So that was completely unexpected. It was, all God's plan, and we're just very grateful. And there was no way I was gonna, I wasn't gonna try and upset that apple cart. It's when it's such a great fit on and off the ice.
Yeah, Matt, the management, the coaching staff, everyone's made it clear that this team is close. And you guys said it in your exit interviews. You felt you could win the Cup this year, last year. You're obviously now considered a big part of that contending window. What does that feel? What is your feeling for the team for the future? And also, how does it feel to be considered a big part of that?
Yeah, absolutely. I don't think anything changes in terms of how I look at the team and I guess my role in it. When I got here 2 years ago, I expected myself to be at the level that I was able to get to, and like I said, to even make an improvement last year versus the year before, it was great, and I want to hit the ground running again. I still have a lot of things motivating me. It's even funny, like you finish the season and you go, oh, I don't even want to go near a hockey stick. I don't want to go near the gym, nothing like that. And then I get about 10 days in and I'm like, all right, I'm heading up. I'm in Florida right now with my family. And, I've been up in the gym a few times, just getting a sweat and getting moving again, just because it's, a little bit of that fire burns in you, even when you're on vacation. So I'm the type of person that has to make myself take time off because if I don't, you don't quite have the juice that you want to have when you're training the off season, mentally. So, I've since I got here, I felt like I really wanted to become part of this group and become, a guy that is looked to help this team win. And that's what I expect of myself all the time. And, you get bought out, I guess. And, a lot of people think, oh, that means that, you're on the back nine and, or near the end. And, for me, I never looked at it that way. It was just a new beginning for me. And I felt like, the year prior to it, I had my best career year. So it's kind of funny how that could happen a year later. And I never once doubted what, I could bring. And I want to keep, like I said, but I want to keep improving. And I feel like I still have, some of my best hockey ahead of me. And that's my goal, to help this team win a Stanley Cup. That's the number one and only thing that's really on my mind.
It's funny because the Stanley Cup has now been awarded. You had said, I think, on your radio hit last that you weren't watching a second of it. But I also really love the line you had, I think it was end of season media availability, where you said the day you win a Stanley Cup might be the hardest to come up with motivation, as you're talking about, to get back in the gym. And as you wear the Masters hat there, oh no, that's a Texas one, but it looks like the Masters colors. Look at that.
Yeah, close.
But it made me think of Rory McIlroy winning the Masters and then saying, I'm kind of having trouble finding motivation because I've achieved my dream, my ultimate goal. And we talked about how close you guys felt. And then does it also feel like you're acres away because you didn't get past Edmonton? I mean, where do you guys feel that this team is, knowing there's going to be some changes, whether it's a new head coach, we already know, and with cap space being so tight, there may be some other moves?
Yeah, absolutely. I think at the end of the day, that was obviously a big conversation, the cap part in my deal, right? You go to free agency, it could have looked a little bit different for me. But for me, I'm excited that, we still should be able to keep a big chunk of this team together. And that was big for me. I didn't, you don't want to come back to a team that's not as good. And I really believe that we're in our window right now, and this window could be long for this team because of the young talent we have, and the older guys, not really slowing down. So, um, that's exciting. And yeah, I think, to get back to your original question about, and kind of the Rory thing is, I think, and I think for him, he'll find this pretty quick, but when you're why do you train? Why do you want to play? Why do you want to do this? When you're like, I think when your why is to win, you know, you're pushing towards that. What you can't forget along the way is how much you love the game and why you play the game and why we started playing this game in the first place. And that was somewhere I really got to in the last 2 years, where I felt, you know, and when I went through some slumping in the playoffs, I think that was something I lost. Was my why was all about winning. Why I love this game. You kind of forget about it at times, right? And that could affect your finish. You do everything right and the puck doesn't go in. Sometimes it's because you're so focused on the result, you're not focused on the the process and and your why. Why do I play this game? Well, I love this game. I love playing it. And I mean, if getting back to Rory, like, that's why he plays golf. He loves it. He's a golf fanatic. He eats, sleeps, and breathes it. And when he gets back to that, he'll start winning again. So I think that is something that, I think we kind of ran into maybe, the last 2 years. And I think we've got to, and that's when you watch the Panthers play. I didn't watch a second of hockey after, but when I watch them play, they feel like, and yeah, after you win one, you're playing with casino money, but they win two because I think they have, as a team, a really good, they just love playing together. They have fun. They enjoy playing the game of hockey. And that's the most important thing. And I, the day that I lose that, or is the day I'll retire. And, I think retiring will come before I lose that, to be honest. I think it'll be time for me to hang them up and be with my family, but, and then I'll pour my passion into my son and into, my next endeavors. But that's kind of how I look at it. And, I think a lot of people that win, they lose that kind of concept of that and that kind of outlook. And that's something that I have to continuously remind myself, because yeah, it's infuriating losing in the conference finals and being that close to the same team 2 years in a row. It's infuriating, hitting every goalpost possible in the playoffs. I mean, it's that's kind of what it's been, and that's the growth, right? And that's what I'm excited. There's that old saying, if you're ripe, you're rotting, and if you're green, you're growing, and I want to stay green until I hang them up.
Can we go, or you got to get?
Go ahead. Go ahead.
I didn't know if we had to get to your little break.
No, Matt's here. We're going to keep on rolling.
Matt, Owen mentioned, changes, players, coaches, and things like that. If you had the opportunity, or if you were sitting in there with Jim and you wanted, and I'm not talking about a name, if you were going to build or design your perfect coach, that could come in and the way that you guys feel that you can play and should play and want to play, how would you put that coach together?
Oh, that's a good question.
That's all I ask here.
Yeah. No, it's that's tough. And first of all, I want to mention Pete DeBoer. Pete is an outstanding coach, and that I am so grateful to him for the 2 years I played under him. He was outstanding, and it's tough to see. It's probably been one of the toughest things I've been through in terms of seeing somebody leave like that, like a coach or somebody like that I've been through on a team. So, I mean, I wish him nothing but the best going forward. So I just want to get that in there first, because he's a great guy and a great coach. And, I'm sad that we couldn't have got over the top for him, because he deserves to win a Stanley Cup at some point. So, but to answer your question, I think the nice thing with our team is we have so much internal leadership, and we have a lot of accountability towards each other. And when someone's not playing well, or somebody makes a mistake, you can feel the guilt or the feel bad off those guys. So you don't even have to hold guys accountable, because you can tell those guys know when they made a mistake. It's not a guiltless no conscience hockey team that just worries about themselves and wants to play their own way. So that's really special. So I think it's not like we need an authoritarian to come in and kind of hold us to that standard. And Pete was great like that. He had a very good balance, and I think that's something that he understood about our group. And I think the next guy coming in hopefully has that too. And I think management, the short conversations I've had with management about it, I haven't talked much about, but they understand that. They know how special our group is, how mature our group is. Even our young players are extremely mature, and one thing I've noticed about our group, everyone's very hard on themselves in a really good way. Sometimes you have to go pick somebody up, because and it's instead of going and giving somebody crap about something they did, you have to do the opposite, because they might be being too hard on themselves. So I'm like that. I know I'm way too hard on myself at times, and it can be just as detrimental as the other way. So yeah, I think we were a skilled team. I think our biggest problem the last couple of years, we didn't score enough in the playoffs, and myself included. I was in that pool of guys, and that's something that we need to fix. I think we're a really good defensive team. I think we defend, and we're very responsible. I think we scored a lot during the regular season, and I think in the playoffs, we got to continue that good feeling. And I wouldn't say play looser, but maybe a little more free at times. And that falls on us as players to get there mentally. And like I said, focus on why and why we love the game, and bring that into the big moments.
Matt, since we're talking about the coach, how much did that change come into your thoughts about your future and signing? And was there ever any point where you said, let me wait until I find out who this new coach is before I make this contract extension?
I think in a lot of places I would have wanted to see what that looked like. But I believe Jim Nill is the best GM in the league. I believe he's one of the best, if not the best person that I've worked with. I have so much high praise for him, and that's coming from somebody who's been through 2 negotiations with him where it didn't go the way I wanted it to. You know what I mean? So he's just so good, but I respect the heck out of it, because it helps our team get better. And I think they all knew how bad I wanted to be here, and they used that for sure. But it's I can laugh about it now. This week it wasn't a laughing subject for a lot of it, but no, I have nothing but great things to say about Jim, and that's why I didn't even I don't worry about who he's going to bring in because I know he's going to bring in the right guy for us. And just having played for Pete and seeing what kind of coach he was, he was at such a high level, and that's a guy that Jim brought in, and that's the kind of standard he has. So I know it'll be a guy at least of that caliber again, or close to, even if it's a young guy, a guy that can get to that caliber. So um, and again, and the other side of it is I believe in our group, and I think our group can win. Um, a number of different ways. And I think we're probably an easier group to coach than a lot of other groups just because of how mature and, how much character we have. So, um, yeah, Jim is the reason I didn't worry about that because I trust that guy with as much as anyone I've ever trusted playing for in my career.
Luds, do you want to do the honor of the last question? Because we could talk to Matt all day, and he's very generous with his time.
Yeah, I was going to say, we're going to let you go. You probably got a tea time or a margarita or something like that to get to, because I know
I wish I had both. I just got kid watching all day right now. I'm in,
Matt,
there's no such thing as vacation with kids.
That's a good reason. That's a good reason for when you get back in town, you do want to come in here and come in the studio and do this, because we have all of that. We got a putting green here. We got the margaritas. We got everything.
Yeah.
I want to finish with this. I just wanted to say, when healthy, okay, when the Marchment and Sagan are healthy, why does that line work so well?
Yeah. I think it starts off the ice. I think we spend a lot of time together. Our communication's outstanding. We see the game pretty similarly, and we you know what, everyone on the line buys into a game plan that we have. We talk as much or more than any line that I've ever been on, and we're all on the same page. And it's so fun when we come up with something before a game that we want to try, or a style that we want to play against certain D zones and certain neutral zones and all that. And it's so fun when we end up scoring and the other two guys have the assists on it. We get such a high off that because it's not because of that. It's because of the camaraderie and everything that we have off the ice. And I'm still really frustrated that we weren't able to produce more in the playoffs because we produced a ton of chances and we couldn't find the back of the net, and we take responsibility for that. I know I do. But our process is pretty darn good for a lot of that. And you know it's a fun line to play on. It's been probably the best line I've played on in this league, and I've had so much fun with those guys. It's been great, and hopefully we can we'll see what the new coach wants to do, but if we're together next year, we want to keep pushing. We have unfinished business just like everybody else, and we're happy with what we've done, but we're not satisfied, if that makes sense.
I got to give you one more little quick one, because I think only you. Tell us about your captain.
Oh, good call.
I am I have not one criticism of that guy. He's such an amazing character guy, does everything right, cares so much about our team. There's another guy who's overly hard on himself. He doesn't realize what he brings when he's not producing. He brings a lot. That's a guy that, obviously you love when he's at that point per game clip that he's capable of being at. But when he's not, when it's not going in for him, he's still bringing a lot, whether it's just even something he says, his presence. He could sit on a bench for a whole game and help us win. That's the kind of effect he has on us. And it's been, he and I got really close this year, I think, a lot closer off the ice. And we spent a lot more time together this year and than the year before. We had a great relationship the year before too, but we gravitated more to each other, I think, this year. And as maybe the two old guys on the team, but no, he's an outstanding leader, outstanding character guy, and an outstanding hockey player. And I would love nothing more than to see him lift the Stanley Cup.
Now, I'm not asking you to break anything news-wise here, but he has said he's intending to play next year. Jim Nill's already said if he wants to play, he's going to be a Dallas Star. I'm guessing you're going on the assumption that he's going to be your captain this year.
Yeah, I have no doubt in my mind on that. We haven't talked about it, but a ton. But I haven't heard the R word out of his mouth once. So he wants to win. That's a guy that's got burning fire in him, and sometimes you can want to win too much, and I've been in that boat as well. So if he and I can find, like I said, our why and why just coming to the rink and loving it, I think love it more now than I did when I was younger. You just appreciate the little things that much more. And I think he's going to have a big year for us this year.
Well, Matt, it's an absolute pleasure to have you join us today. And I say this sincerely. The last 2 years, getting to know you and talking hockey with you, you're a gem in the best possible way. It's so appreciative from my angle, the things that you bring and the thoughtfulness, and 4 more years of that. I'm very excited.
Yeah,
so
congratulations.
It's a big day for you and your family and for us. And Sam, when you come into the studio and you have an open invitation to come join us for an hour, spent time working in the music scene in Nashville, and you guys have to talk about this. So just a little nugget for later. But thank you very much, and really hope you enjoy the rest of your beach vacation and your summer.
I got a couple clubs you can come and play at, Matt. I don't know if they're called clubs, but I got security too, so you're handled.
Sounds good. I appreciate it, guys. Thank you for that comment as well. I hope God gave me the gift of gab, and hopefully you're not sick of me by the end of these next 4 years. So, but I appreciate it.
We've got nothing but content to fill. You can help with that. Thank you very much.
All right. Thanks, guys. Talk to you later.
There he goes. Matt Duchene, the newest extension for the Dallas Stars offseason.